If you're in the market for a used side-by-side, you don't want to get stuck buying the wrong machine. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain, and I'm going to give you my top 5 things to watch out for while navigating the used side-by-side market. Now, before you get in a hurry to go look at the machine, there's a little bit of research you want to do. So I want to talk about this before I get into the top 5. Number 1, know what you're getting into. So research the machine and find out about any common issues that it might have. For example, I know that there are some Polaris models that have an issue with the clutches wearing a groove into them right around 3,000 to 3,500 miles. So if I'm looking at one of those models, that's something I'm going to want to pay attention to when I go to look at the machine. The other thing, you want to get familiar with what other similar models are going for in your area. Sometimes you're just going to find a couple of models that have a ridiculous price on them. So again, know what you're looking at before you go so you don't get taken advantage of. That being said, when you do go look at the machine, you're going to have to get down on your hands and knees and look for signs of abuse and look for any red flags, because it's really easy to hide things with a little bit of SC1. So make sure you're doing a thorough inspection, and if you do, the machine is going to tell you what kind of shape it's really in. Now, last thing I want to point out is these tips are going to apply to just about any machine, no matter what brand it is or what size. The first thing to watch out for is extreme use. Now, the seller might try to downplay what they've used this machine for, but we're going to do a thorough inspection to expose the truth. Now, with this, the first thing you want to do is ask them, hey, what type of riding have you used this for? Is it casual trail riding? Maybe you went hunting in it. Maybe they were rock crawling, or maybe even racing. Now, the only things I'd really be worried about is extreme rock crawling and racing. So with those things, there's a few inspections you're going to want to make. Now, regardless of what the seller told you they used the machine for, you want to do some inspections and make sure there's no serious damage underneath the frame. So with extreme rock crawling, you might see gouges on the frame, you might see cracks at the weld, and you're going to see paint worn off on the bottom. Now, any machine's going to have a little bit of wear and tear, but you're looking for serious problems here. The next thing I'm going to look out for are signs of racing or aggressive high-speed driving. So if you look at the back of the skid plate, in between those rear axles, and you see a bunch of scrapes or wear right there, that indicates that this thing has been driven pretty aggressively. So with that, there's a couple things you want to check. You're going to look at where the suspension components mount up to the frame. Check those welds for any cracks, and then you also want to check the suspension for any leaks. And you're also going to be taking a look at the chassis, and you want to look for any bent components. Now, an easy way to check for bent parts is to put the steering wheel straight ahead and then come to the back of the machine, and you're going to sight down the tires, and as a general rule, the tires should look pretty square with each other. I'm not going to get deep into alignment here. What we're doing is just checking for one wheel that is completely different than the rest, and that's going to indicate that something is bent, whether it's an A-arm, a tie rod, it could be a radius rod, it could be a rear wheel or a front wheel that looks tweaked. Now, another indicator that something is wrong is if you have uneven tire wear, so make sure you're taking a look at that. And then the last thing with that is tire alignment can be affected by worn ball joints or chassis bearings, things like that. So we're going to be talking about that later. But the main thing here is if you see any serious damage underneath the machine or to these chassis components, that's when you're probably going to want to walk away. The second thing to watch out for is accident damage. Now, with this, it's a good idea to ask the seller if the machine has been crashed, tipped over, rolled, and if it has been in any accidents, you want to find out if they've been repaired and if the machine has a salvage title, because obviously if it's had issues in the past, it's going to have a lower resale value now. Regardless of what they say, you still want to make some inspections, and that way if there's anything that's been overlooked, you don't miss it. And the goal here is to make sure that you have the roll cage and the frame in good working order, and again, you want to expose any underlying issues before they become your problem. All right, for these checks, the name of the game is structural integrity. So first thing we're gonna be doing is sighting down the front and the back of the machine, and we're looking for an offset with the roll cage versus the body. If things look bent up, obviously you know something's happened to this machine. Another telltale sign would be lots of scratches to the side of the machine, whether it's the plastics or the roll cage right there. Now, light scratching, that might just be from brush, things like that. But if you see heavy scratching, the machine probably has been on its side at least once. Now, one of the most important checks you can make is to the frame and the roll cage. You're gonna be looking at all of the welds and the joints, and you're gonna be looking for any signs of cracks. You also wanna take a look at the paint. If anything is chipped or flaking off, that indicates that something is bent. And you're gonna go all the way around the machine looking at every weld and joint that you can see. So if you see any issues, that's definitely a red flag. Now, with that being said, sometimes you're gonna run into a machine that somebody's tried to re-weld something and then use some spray paint to cover it up. So if you see that type of thing, you definitely wanna be cautious, and honestly, any of that type of stuff, I would probably walk away. The third thing to watch out for is neglect. Now, if the machine hasn't been taken care of, it's probably gonna be going to an early grave. So you wanna ask the seller for any maintenance records and pay attention to things like when the oil was changed, the air filter, and the belt replacements. Now, if they didn't save receipts or if they did the work themselves, you wanna ask how often they did the work and what type of services have been done. And then again, if they were doing the work themselves, ask them about what type of oil, what type of filters, and what type of grease they've been using. If they seem confused or uncertain about these questions, then I'd be worried and a little concerned if the work has actually been done. Now, while you're down here checking your oil, this is a good time to check for any leaks or any major issues that you might not want to deal with. So you're gonna take a look around your engine, your transmission, differential, check for coolant leaks, any leaking oil down on the skid plate. And if it's from a place that is gonna be difficult to repair, like a case half or something like that, you might wanna pass on the machine. But if it's an easy leak, or maybe you just have a CV boot that is ripped, you've got some grease coming out, that's a pretty easy fix. So it depends how bad the leak is, but definitely take a look while you're down here. Now, if you have time and if the seller will let you remove a couple of panels, I'd recommend taking a look at the air filter, make sure it's not packed with dirt or damaged, and make sure it's installed correctly. This dirt down the intake is not good. And then I'd also remove the belt cover. So underneath here, typically we just put a new belt on anytime we buy a new machine, but you wanna take a look at the clutches, check the sheaves for grooves, and then take a look at the weights and the buttons. Make sure that those aren't grooved out or worn out. Now, if you're not sure what to be looking for, again, we've got other how-to videos that show you in detail what you need to inspect, so go check those videos out. Now, the main point of all of this is if you see one or two things that are wrong, maybe you can just get it repaired. But if you see constant neglect all the way throughout the machine, that's a bad sign, and that's probably when you're gonna be wanting to walk away and find a different machine that's in better condition. The fourth thing to watch out for is a tired engine. Now with that, mileage is usually a great indicator of the overall lifespan or where you're at in the lifespan of the engine. But with that being said, it really comes down to how well the engine was maintained and taken care of. So regardless of where you're at with mileage, there's 3 inspections you want to make so you don't get scammed. Test 1, is the engine hard to start? An engine that is in good condition will start easily even when the engine is cold. That's a great indicator of the engine's overall health. This is what's known as a cold start. Before you ever show up to look at the machine, it's a good idea to ask the seller to not start the engine before you get there. And just to verify they haven't, it's a good idea to feel the side of the engine, see if it has been warmed up. And if it has, you might want to ask them if it does have a cold starting problem. 2, is there blue smoke coming from the exhaust? If there is, that indicates that some of the top end parts are worn out and need some attention. So with that being said, if you only notice blue smoke on initial startup, that indicates the valve stem seals are probably bad and need to be replaced. However, if this continually puffs blue smoke or only when you give it throttle, that indicates that the piston rings are bad. Again, in either case, the engine will need some attention. 3, listen for any unusual sounds. If you're not familiar with what a good running engine should sound like, you can always call up a friend, check out his or her machine, or you can go to a dealership and check out a demo model. That way, when you get to your potential purchase, you know what to listen for. You want to make sure the engine is running smooth, there's no extra ticking, rattling, or knocking sounds. And when you go on your test drive, if any of these sounds get louder, that's a big red flag. Now, with that being said, some clutches, they make a lot of racket. So if you're not sure if it's the clutch or engine, one thing you can do is put your hand on the clutch cover and try to get a sense if that's where the sound is coming from or not. Now, if the engine passes all of these tests, you can go ahead and move on to the next checks. If you find that you have a tired engine, most people are gonna walk away. Unless you're looking for a project and you have time to put into it, you can still move on with the purchase. The 5th thing to watch out for is bad bearings and ball joints. Now, with this, it goes back to stance. Maybe your stance was off, you took a look around the machine and you didn't see anything that was obviously bent. Well, this is gonna help you verify whether or not something is actually tweaked and you're just not seeing it, or if it's just a simple chassis bearing replacement. Now, how you check this stuff is actually pretty simple. All you need to do is raise the machine up with a jack, and then you're gonna rock the tire from top to bottom and side to side, and then have a friend look underneath there and check for any play in wheel bearings, your ball joints, your tie rod end, and even the bushings on your A-arms. If you find anything, you know that's why the stance is off and you'll have to get it replaced. If you didn't have any play, you've got 2 things going on. 1, something really could be tweaked, or if it's just a toe issue, maybe you just need to adjust the tie rod ends. So there you have it. Now that you've given the machine a once over, if you did find any issues with it, you want to bring that up to the seller and negotiate the buying price. And as you went through the process, you might have noticed that maybe the machine had some big issues and you don't want to deal with them. So at that point, you just want to walk away. On the other hand, if you feel comfortable taking on some bigger projects, this might be a great way to pick the machine up for a really good price, but be prepared, you're gonna have to put some time and money into the machine. So those are my top 5 tips for navigating the used side-by-side market. Now, we wanna know what your guys' best tips are down in the comments. And this was a lot of information, but we could go even deeper. So if you guys want a more in-depth video on buying used side-by-sides, let us know down in the comments. Now, if you need any parts or accessories for your new-to-you machine, we've got that stuff available on our website. Just click the link in the description below. We offer free shipping on orders over $75. So take advantage of that, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain, and we'll catch you in the next video.